So good evening, one and all. Our speaker has already joined with us, Professor Gitanjali Das, and she is my teacher when I was at my graduation in Pokemon Autonomous College. And today she will speak on changing discourse on feminism today. First of all, I'm thankful to her because she has accepted my invitation that is, informal, and hence it is, academics in nature, purely. So as the convener, let me do my duty. I will introduce the speaker and I will introduce the, topic. Now today's speaker is a retired professor of political science in the Department of Social Science, Pokemon University, Balasore, my hometown. So I am also from Balasore. She had done her post-graduation from Utkal University, her MPhil from Delhi University. She had worked at GB Pant Social Science Institute, Allahabad as an ICSSR doctoral fellow. Subsequently, she joined Odisha Education Service in 1988 and worked in different government colleges. She was awarded PhD degree from Berhampur University. Later, she joined Fakirmon University as the reader and then became professor in 2009. And she was a recipient of National Scholarship, UGC Teacher Fellowship, and ICSSR Fellowship. She has authored and edited a number of books and published a number of articles in various journals of national repute. Some of her books are National Development Council in Indian Federal System that was published in 2009, Globalization and Consumer Rights, Emerging Dimension that was published in 2012, Climate Change and Politics of Development that was published in 2013. She is a life member of many national institutions and associations. Her area of interest are gender studies, political theory, political economy of Odisha. Let me do the introduction to the theme of today's web talk. Now, feminism is an ideology advocates for a equality of women in different spheres of life. The term feminism was first used by the utopian socialist Charles Fourier in the 19th century as a distinct interest group, partly because of the exclusion of women by the bourgeois democratic revolution and partly because of the industrial revolution that had led to the increasing visibility of women in public employment. The woman question emerged by articulating the questions arising from the exclusion of women from the fruits of enlightenment. In other parts of the globe, the emergence of this question, gender question, in the public arena was in the context of anti-imperialist movements and the struggle against the feudal oppression. Thus, feminist intervention in the post-colonial society had to engage both old oppression of tradition as well as new oppression of colonialism. Feminist theory and politics in 20th century is marked by an intense internal debate, and it is generally recognized that it is a plural term and we should talk about feminisms, keeping in view sharp debates and differences among different feminists or among the advocates. Nevertheless, what all feminists share is a recognition that women are placed in an inferior position in the society, and this hierarchy is based on gender. They also believe that this is based on socio-cultural and economic power structure, which have little to do with biological difference between the sexes. Now, feminism is based on a number of concepts in its debate, which will be discussed today. So I hope you got a kind of hint on what the speaker today she is going to speak or deliberate. With this short introduction, let me tell all of you that this is something that I asked the today's speaker to send me. This is the abstract of her talk. I just read it out. Now, with this small introduction, I welcome my teacher, Gitanjali, Gita Madam, and I request her to start her deliberation. So, Madam, you can start right now. You have to unmute, Madam.
Thank you, Himanshu, and my respected Surja sir, and all the dear students. I thank Himanshu for the kind words, and very well he has introduced the topic. So today, actually, feminism is a very vast topic. It is very difficult to go through the entire, it's a very comprehensive analysis we have to make. So it's very difficult to go through the entire theory of feminism in one class. So that is just not possible. So we will just take up certain issues, why feminism and how feminism started and how it grew and how it has reached this present stage of debate, discussion, and what are the challenges being faced by the feminists from within and from outside outside. And so this is a very, very important debate nowadays, keeping in view the liberal democratic tradition, what we have established in almost all the states. We accept that liberal democracy is the only tradition which emphasizes on human rights, which emphasizes on equality, which emphasizes on justice and equity, and all liberal principles. So as a whole, we have all of us in political science, in the stream of political science, we have accepted this as a part of the liberal democratic tradition also. But this is not the only school of thought which has accepted feminism, but also the socialist school of thought. They have their own opinion. They have their own interpretation of feminism, which is even more comprehensive, even more analytical, and by which they have challenged the social structure itself. They have challenged the structure, they have challenged the power relation, they have challenged the economic system, they have challenged the hierarchy in the society, and they also have they have also analyzed that in the process of globalization, feminism and the women's question becomes the women are becoming more and more vulnerable. So the colonial theory of feminism and the post-colonial theory of feminism are also different. So that is why I said these are the changing terms of discourse. We can have a very brief analysis of feminism in this class, in this talk. So feminism, it is based on two common beliefs. The first is that women are disadvantaged because of their sex, because they are women, they are suffering, because they are women as a sex, they are suffering, and this advantage can and should be overthrown. This is a man-made disadvantage. This is not natural. So this can be overthrown. This can be overthrown by our attitude, by our education, by our policies, by our all social structure. So these are these are the two common beliefs. So there are it highlights certain principles that it says that there is a political relationship between the sexes, that is man and woman. There are two categories of individuals, that is one is man and woman. So there is a political relationship. The relationship between man and woman is always political. And it also says that there is a subjection of women in most societies, be it a developing society, be it any third world country, or you go to the most developed Western countries, you find some type of disadvantage, some forms of disability, some form of discrimination is there everywhere. It is universal. Not only it is there in India or in any other South Asian countries or in other third world countries, rather it is a universal concept. So, and another aspect, it emphasizes that the political, legal, cultural issues are the main concerns, though they vary from one school to another. So these are some of the highlights of feminism. So if you go to the origin, it doesn't have a very specific age or specific or a particular person who is with whom feminism came to the debate, came to the society. So it has a very long history, and the history is also very old. We can say that from activism, it has gained the momentum, and it started with the political activism. It started with the political the fight for political rights in the Western countries, we can say, and it gathered momentum when the political rights were given to the women. It gathered momentum because they felt that not only political rights but also social and economic rights are necessary to fight against any type of discrimination which was not which was absent among women in the society. So it is not only it started with the political activism which which started in United States, or you can say in United Kingdom, and it was invariably linked to women's movement. Feminism is invariably linked to women's movement. It is an attempt. They have taken an attempt to advance the social role of women. So this is a very briefly. So we can say that this is the short. Brief history. So it can be traced, if you go to history, it can be traced back to Greece and Chinese civilization. Christine de Pizan's book, she wrote a book, The City of Ladies. It was published in 1405. It advocated for women's rights, right to education and political participation, etc. So this can be said roughly, this can be said a book which fought for, which emphasized on women's rights. The first text on modern feminism was Mary Wollstonecraft's Vindication of the Rights of Women, which was written in 1792. So the political rights, in Seneca Falls, it started the political movement in Seneca Falls in USA for campaign for political like voting rights. Even though the countries were so, they claimed to be democratic countries, they claimed to be liberal, have established liberal democracies, but they did not give women the voting rights. So voting rights, getting voting rights was the first challenge for women. So for 1840, the women's movement women's movement was inspired by the campaign for abolition of slavery. There is a very strong movement in America against slavery. Women became very motivated with the success of this movement of abolition of slavery, or the apartheid, against apartheid. So the Seneca Falls Convention was the first women's rights movement, we can roughly say. So in 1848, the birth of women's rights movement, it started in United States of America. By that time, also there was no voting right given to women, even in United States of America. So if you go to the movement in UK, so there was a House of Commons. All of us know as students of political science that John Stuart Mill had proposed a bill. He proposed a bill to give women the voting right, and he was branded as an insane person. People said he's mad, and that bill was rejected. It could not be passed in the first instance. So, but with that, women they continued with their movement against these. I mean, for the voting rights. So even some military tactics were adopted by Women's Social and Political Union. It was led by Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughter Christabel. So they were two champions. She was Pankhurst was her period was 1858 to 1928, and Christabel's period was 1880 to 1958. So they were the mother-daughter duo. They were instrumental in applying military tactics. So they were very strongly, they were fighting for voting rights. So this is this type of the suffragettes movement. There was a wholesale attack on property also. Even the bourgeois movement, which started in 17th and 18th century, the bourgeois democracy, which was adopted in England in 17th and 18th century, did not give any rights to women. So it was a feudal, we can say it was a feudal society. They did not consider women as equal partners in all walks of life. So very briefly, this is the first wave movement. We can say this is the first wave movement, because this movement was for voting rights only. So because they thought that women's movement, the advocates of women's movement, they thought that with the gaining of voting right, they can every other right will automatically come to them, and there will be no problem in the society. So they thought the first wave movement, after getting the political rights, after getting the voting rights in 1900, in some it was 1920 or 2028, I think USA and UK, by 1928, they gave political rights, the voting rights to women. And India, for that matter, is much ahead of all these countries. So before the independence, in the nationalist movement, women had a very important role to play, and they were equally participating along with the men. And Gandhi was a champion of women's cause. And so in India, we didn't have to fight for voting right. With the introduction of our constitution, with the introduction of the Constitution of Independent India, we had voting right for every citizen, every adult citizen, irrespective of our caste, class, and gender. So India was in a better position, we can say. So with the gaining of political rights in most of the countries, the people thought, or women, the advocates thought, that things will be very easy for women to assert equality in all walks of life, including the labor force, including in the social fabric, the social society, and other social institutions, which also did not prove to be true. It was not true. And gradually, by 1960s, there was a lull, you can say, after the first movement. Between the first movement and the second wave movement, there was a lull, we can say, and it was very slow between the First World War, the Second World War came, and there was a social welfare policy and was adopted by almost all the states. So even India had adopted many social welfare measures, and India also adopted the equal remuneration bill and many other bills which gave women an equal position. But by 1960s, it was realized that not everything is fine with women. Not just with the granting of political rights, the granting of voting rights, it is not possible that women are getting equal opportunity in every sphere. So the most important documentation which took place in case of India, we can say the Towards Equality report by Bida Majumdar and Latika Sarkar, which really exploded the myth that everything is for Indian women. So, and it was it was realized that the labor force participation is at the minimum. The work is not at all taken into domestic work is not taken into consideration as by the census as work or in economic terms, and women in every sphere of life, like education, economy, education and culture, etc. So they are lagging far behind. So with this, the second wave feminism, we can say it started. It was a movement was regenerated, we can say. It was with a renewed vigor. It emphasized on women's liberation. So they said women should be liberated from all these parochial forces in the society, be it economy or be it society. The parochial forces have really they should crumble down, and the women should have equal opportunity in every sphere, not only a political sphere, not only in politics. So it started with the publication of Feminine Mystic by Betty Friedan. She wrote, it is the problem with no name. The problem with no name. So it was such a the problem also was at such a subtle level that you cannot define, but you can feel that not everything is right with women. You can feel it that not everything is very they are not at all equal in every sphere, but it's a problem. So she named it as problem with no name. And she also called the home a comfortable concentration camp. Home, the concept of family was challenged by her as a concentration camp, because nobody knows what is happening inside. The inside story is not coming out. The inside trauma which is faced by women, the monotony, the domestic violence, the domestic torture, the insignificant position they are having in a family is not at all coming to the public. So she considered it as a comfortable concentration camp. And it recognized that political and legal rights had not solved women's questions. Though we have given political and economic rights, it has not solved the questions of women. So Kate Millett wrote Sexual Politics in 1970. German Greer, The Female Eunuch in 1970. All these are they posed very critical questions. They raised a number of questions regarding women's position in the society, regarding women's actual status in the society. So these were they focused upon the personal, psychological, and sexual aspects of female oppression. So it was not at all political, because politically, if you just get a voting right, that will not solve your problem. Once you go to vote for in 5 years, and or you participate in the voting right, so it is, sometimes it was called a duplication of votes. What your husband says, or what your father says, you have to vote for the person. So this is not and this will not bring an end to women's oppression. The women's oppression exactly took place in personal, psychological, and sexual aspects. So a radical or revolutionary process of social change is required. So they thought that radical change is required, and a revolutionary process is to be followed for bringing an end to these oppressions. So it became an ideology by 1970. So with the writing of these literature, with the debate on these literature of Kate Millett or German Greer, or people, there was Betty Friedan, or so many radical feminists were there. With their writings and with a debate on this literature, the second wave of feminism came to the forefront, and this became a very important. This became it's a very important ideology, even in the debate of political science, because they challenged the conventional approaches of political science, like the liberal approach and Marxist approach. They said in every concept you have to have a feminist approach. Without giving a feminist dimension to every concept, you cannot have a very comprehensive debate on the concepts of political theory. So many things were also achieved, like equal pay, legislation of abortion, and legalization of abortion, anti-discrimination laws, wider access to education also took place. So there was a new man concept in the sense, the man is no more the only breadwinner. So this is called a new man concept. Man was considered as the breadwinner, and women were considered as the child bearer and child rearer. So this was no more in place, and this was no more in place, because women were going to the market, women were going to the labor market. They were adding to the family economy, family family status. So, and going to be they challenged that. They said it is going to be a non-achievers culture. Men are going to lose. They will be non-achievers, because there is a stiff competition in every sphere from women. So this concept was also accepted. This concept was also recognized, that they are not the only breadwinner, and they are going to be non-achievers. So it will create a non-achiever culture. So and because lot of competition they will face from women. So these are the two very important phases of women's feminism, along with the women's movement. But before going to the last phase, which is a very, very critical and very complex phase, which started in 1990, we have to discuss a certain number of concepts. There are like we say, the left is there are so many shades of left. Light, we're saying in Delhi University that it starts with light pink to deep maroon. So many shades of left ideology. So also we can say in feminism, there are so many schools of thought. There is a liberal feminism, radical feminism, socialist feminism, the postmodern feminism, so many, and postmodern feminism has added a number of new dimensions to the feminist ideology or feminist debate. But before going to all these critical aspects of today's feminism, we have to we have to discuss certain concepts, because without analyzing the concepts, no theory becomes full-fledged. We cannot give any we cannot have a stand on a particular ideology. So irrespective of their different shades of feminism, irrespective of the various shades of feminism, it is we can say that certain concepts are uniform. Certain concepts are uniform, and they have added a number of concepts to the debate, and they have defined a number of concepts they have introduced a number of concepts to the feminist literature, to the feminism, to the feminist ideology. So some of the common and core themes on which all of them agree are like this: public and private divide, patriarchy, personal is political. So personal is political. So like this, we will start with one by one. We'll go one by one. We'll discuss these concepts one by one. Public and private divide. So normally, how do we define political? We say it is political is located. Politics is located in the arena of public rather than private life. Private life is not coming under coming to the political debate. Private and public, we have a division of private and public. So it's related to activity in public sphere of government institutions, political parties, pressure groups, and public debate. So that is called political. That is political, because whatever takes place in public sphere is political. Private is completely away from politics. So family and personal relationship is thought to be part of private sphere and therefore non-political. Family is considered to be non-political. So feminists have a very different interpretation of politics. They say politics is an activity which takes place within all social groups. Not merely it is confined to the affairs of government or other public bodies. Politics exists wherever social conflict is found. Whenever two persons are there, even there may be a there may be some conflict. So it is a process of resolving conflict, we can say. So so they say, Kate Millett says, it is a power structured relationship. Politics is a power structured relationship arrangement whereby one group of persons is controlled by another. It's controlled by another. There are two groups. There is a relationship. The relationship between these two groups is based on superiority and subordination. There cannot be equal. They cannot be equal. So politics exists in such groups where the people who are coming within that group, their relationship is based on a hierarchy. The hierarchy is superior and subordination. So this is what is called politics. So this is how they divide. They interpret political. They interpret politics. So public-private dichotomy. So they say there is a dichotomy of public and private. In agricultural economy, women's work inside the home was a part of production. So the agricultural economy, most of the work was also done at home. So most of the agricultural work was done by women, and they were supposed to have an equal position in the production process, in the process of production. So the private work and public production system were closely interlinked. Dichotomization, so this dichotomy is unreal and deliberate. and this is untrue. So this the women are projected as non-workers. It is a middle class view. So in industrial economic production system, so when industrialization took place, so a lot of mechanization was there, and it needed some skilled labor, and this skill was definitely the skill was the skill was it was taken by men. So men became skilled, women became unskilled, women became unfit to be employed in the labor market. So this is in the process of industrialization, women became out of production system. So 30% of women, they say 30% of women are female headed. So it is a myth, because women also have a major role to play in the production process. So sexual division of labor, so this type of a sexual division of labor is political and it is not natural. So so they say politics is a power structured relationship. It is based on hierarchy, inequality, and domination. So this has to be crushed. So otherwise there cannot be any type of equality in the society. So sexual inequality is preserved as sexual division of labor. So it was highlighted by Elston's Public Man and Private Woman. Jane B. Elston wrote a book, Public Man and Private Woman, in 1981. It emphasized on these aspects. So traditionally, public sphere comprising politics, work, art, and literature has been the preserve of men, and women are confined to family and domestic responsibility. They are out of public sphere. So this was a type of an interpretation. So, so the radical feminists, they call, so they say this is that personal is political. So you cannot define the dichotomy between public and private is not at all true. It is not natural. It is an artificial or man-made dichotomy. So personal is political. Nothing is called personal, because personal level also politics exists, because politics is based on hierarchy, inequality, and domination, and it is a power relationship. Another very important concept on which all the feminists do agree is patriarchy. Patriarchy, though patriarchy was as a term, as a concept, it was defined and elaborated by the radical feminists. So they say gender is a significant social cleavage, and sexism as a form of oppression. So they define gender, so they define patriarchy as the features of philosophical and social systems in which society, by force, direct pressure, ritual, tradition, law and language, customs, etiquettes, education, or division of labor, determine what part women should play and not play, and in which female is everywhere subsumed under the male. So this is how they have defined a patriarchy. So patriarchy is a very widely used, it has a very wider connotation in all the societies. And Uma Chakrabarti is a very lucidly written that the experience of patriarchy is there everywhere, but it is not the same in a tribal society, or it is not the same as it happens in industrial societies, or it is not the same as it happened in 19th century or prior to that, or it is not the same as it happens today. It is changing. It is a very changing concept, but the core idea of patriarchy do remain in the society. This is very difficult to be eliminated from the society. So all are enslaved by patriarchy. Our perception is like that a woman is not born, she is made. So this was said. So many a times uh, so patriarchy is like this, how power, resources and opportunities are distributed among men and women. Power is always a core area of concern in politics. How power is distributed among men and women. Resources, how the resources are distributed among men and women is the main, is the common theme of patriarchy. So Kamala Hassan is a very strong advocate. She passed away very recently, maybe just last year, and she was a very ardent champion of this concept of patriarchy, which she called Pitru Sakta, and she has explained in South Asian countries how this Pitru Sakta, or the preference for a the son preference, or the preference for a male child, has affected the women's position in the society. And she also has said it is a control and domination, and has cultural and uh, ideological, it has ideological dimensions. Even our cinema, literature, painting, fashion shows that we need to be, that women need to be controlled by men. In every cinema also you find the same story is being repeated. So Kamala Hassan puts it, it is premised on the concept that men are superior to women and women are to be controlled by men. They are to be controlled by men. So the so politics is male centric, they say. Not more than 10% of women are there in politics. Media also helps in internalizing such type of a patriarchal mindset into the minds of every individual, every person in the society. Like rape, molestation, they are all a manifestation of exercise of control over women's body. So that is also a part of patriarchal culture. So as a structure, as a culture, patriarchy has really dominated this world. So there is no escape from patriarchy. So unless we eliminate such type of a system, it is very difficult to have equality in our society. So this is this is another concept. One more concept is already we have discussed a little bit more. I can say regarding personal is political. So feminism emphasizes the relationship within family being based on hierarchy and power based. It makes it political. So family is also a political institution. Susan Miller O'Keefe has taken number of like 4 separate claims. She has shown that how she has tried to prove that how this personal is political, because family, she says, is a social institution and state controls marriage laws are made by the state, divorce laws are made by the state. Family is a social institution. It is not like when you marry a person, you have to have a social sanction. You get a social sanction, society accepts it. So explicitly political sphere, so explicitly it is also coming under political, because family is not immune from state. It is not immune, or it is not free from state. So this is so family only like defines, or it teaches us what is appropriate behavior for a girl, how you should behave, and how you should act in your personal life, everything is also being internalized by the mother in the family to the child. So this is so the personal is political is also a common, is a very important concept which they have accepted. All of the feminist schools of thought they have accepted. Another is sex and gender. Sex and gender, almost all the students must be knowing this dichotomy. So it is based on the stereotypes of masculinity and femininity. Women are made and they are not born. So gender differences, it is said, it is they are socially and even politically constructed. They are constructed. Gender differences are politically constructed or socially constructed. So all they say all human beings are androgynous. They have some male qualities and some female qualities. So the women and men should not be judged by their sex, but as individual persons. So the intention, so the objective of feminism is to achieve genderless personhood. The objective is to achieve genderless personhood. You should not be considered as a gendered person. Gender should be kept away from your personality, and because the way you behave, the way you internalize your position is also a part of the social norms and values. So these social norms and values have taught us how to behave in an appropriate manner. So like this, there are various there are very important these are some of the very important concepts. Then coming to the third page, after all these debates and all these discussions took place, and there was we can say there is nothing called as in the abstract also. Himanshu read that Himanshu said that we can say it is feminisms. It is a plural term. It has become such a heterogeneous. The groups are so heterogeneous. There cannot be any one stream of feminism. So towards the end, we can say the questions of autonomy is also, it has come to the debate or discussion. The terms of feminist discourse has also changed because you can see the questions of identity, equality, and autonomy have to be taken up, and all these questions have been taken up by there is in India, we can say, the emergence of a Dalit feminist voice, and a number of organizations have been set up. Say Cynthia's Defense, Ambedkar, Jyotiba Phule, all the social scientists, all the social activists, all the social reformers, they are part of this questions. They are part of this movement which has questioned which is fighting, which has fought against the which is fighting for the autonomy of all groups of women. So women as a group also, they are not homogeneous. They are heterogeneous. So that is why the interest of all women are also not uniform, you can say. So it was an important challenge to politics and economics of capitalism, we can say. So this is in activism part, we can say, the changed perspective on autonomy by a critical examination of the global economic and political developments, creating new hierarchies. Globalization has created new hierarchies, and women are becoming more and more subjugated. So on the basis of caste, class, and gender, so there is, we can say, there is a sort of thrice domination on the basis of class, on the basis of caste, and on the basis of gender. So redefinition of feminism must take a cultural as well as the economic factors into consideration. So these are so this is it sharpens the and we have to have an interlocking relationship. We have to have an interlocking relationship with other social movements. Other social movements, feminist movement cannot be like cannot be pursued like as an autonomous movement. It is part of the social movement. It is very much an integral part of the social movement. So it opens up grounds for a common struggle against domination. It so that it will make it more broad based. So so this is in case of India, we can say. Then in 1990s, I was just saying that the third phase, which we call the third wave of feminism. So the lot of literature has come after 1990s, which we can call, which shows a clear evidence of revisionism. This we call a revisionist movement, de-radicalization. We call it a de-radicalized movement. So the radical feminists, the way they say you just leave family, you just marriage should not be marriage should as a social institution should be abandoned. We should not go into marital relationship, and all these radical behavior, radical mindset was getting changed. It was changed. Betty Friedan wrote another book, The Second Stage in 1983. Greer's Sex and Destiny, another book she wrote. So they revised their ideology. They revised their opinion. They celebrated the importance of childbearing and motherhood. They said we should celebrate womanhood. We should not. That's we call the difference movement. We are not equal. We are not equal. We are different. We should always claim a difference from. We should claim that we are different from men because they do not have they cannot be a mother. They cannot bear a child. The childbearing and motherhood should be celebrated, they said, and the militant and revolutionary wing has been marginalized. So this is called revisionism or post-feminism. So there are there is a number of strands in this post-feminism. One is the de-radicalization, and the second is fragmentation and or diversification, reformulation or reinterpretation. So these are some of the aspects which have come very recently. So the central illusion of post-feminism is that society's most obvious forms of sexist oppression have been overcome. Society is no longer patriarchal. So this is a myth. This is an illusion. It is held by them. We should be. This is a myth. Patriarchy is consolidating itself through various forms. Patriarchy is not eliminated from the society. So this myth has to be exploded by the post-feminists in the coming days. So this is a bogus form. They call it the bogus forms of emancipation created by patriarchy, which is covering from over one generation to generation. So this form of emancipation is bogus, and this mindset also needs to be changed. Thank you.
So thank you, madam. I remember my past days during my graduation, and I can say that I mean there is a development in you, and I mean I can say that you are a liberal feminist, you are not a radical feminist, and you do understand the complexities of our society, and accordingly feminism, they also change their own position. Very rightly you said about post-feminism, that who is not patriarchal, The question is that who is not patriarchal and where is not their patriarchy? These are the questions. It's there actually. The more you interpret, you can understand patriarchy is there in one form or other. So no doubt, my supervisor, Professor Nivedita Menon, she is a known feminist, but still then I think somehow uh, I will not say that I am neither a feminist nor an anti-feminist. So I always think about, the formation of society and the formation of the state, good life of the individual, common good. So these are my concern, and I think feminism also one part of my concern. So there are three questions or doubt. Let me raise, and I want you to address. The first, that what is the contribution of feminism in the formation of social? And when I'm asking this question, I'm also I understand that most of the political theorists and philosophers, they didn't take feminism very seriously. And why they didn't take feminism so seriously, right? And the second question or doubt is that what is the position of feminism on feminine and masculine qualities? I know that they say that all these qualities are social construction, right? But my question is that why it says that these are not natural rather than social construction? If someone will say that these are the natural, feminine qualities and masculine qualities are natural, and how the feminist will react to it rationally? The third question is that what feminists today must self introspect, and how do, other words I can say that I can ask this question: how feminists deal with post feminism? Just now you talked about. So these are the three questions or doubt I I raised. Now I request you to deal with all these three doubts. Then I'll go back to the questions asked by the participants or students. Madam, you have to unmute yourself.
I told ask your students if they have any question or doubt. We can at least take up all the questions and we can answer, or I can discuss all this. You said what is the contribution of feminism to social formation?
To the social formation of social.
Formation of social. Formation of social means what is the concern in the society? The concern is justice, equity, and individual dignity. If you consider these to be the basis of social and formation in a equal society, or on a sir namaskar, apurva sir namaskar. So then feminists have a very clear stand on it, because they are fighting only for equality and justice, which is not there in a society. A society which needs to be a developed one has to be based on equality and justice. So I think they have the greatest contribution to the formation of society. Their ideology, the ideology of feminism is it's very strongly, it advocates for equality, equity, and justice, which is definitely an important part of society. And to your to the question, position of feminism on masculinity and femininity, I told you that they have said that all individuals are androgynous. They have some male qualities or some female qualities. We have we have inculcated into the minds of a boy that you have got virility, you cannot cry, you have to take a gun as a small young boy, and we have given the mindset to a girl that you have to take a doll, you have to be very shy, you cannot talk very loudly, you cannot like argue, you cannot go out. All these feminine quality. A boy can also cry. You don't cry in public, but when you feel crying, you can also cry. But you have been taught in such a way that you should not cry in a public place. So this is a social norm which has been inculcated into the minds of a male person. So masculinity and femininity, they are this is a question of degree, they say. So and they say all men are all individuals are androgynous. Every individual has some qualities of male and some qualities of female. So sex is a natural, it's a natural division, but not gender. So the gender is certainly artificial and it is socially constructed. And how do they deal with post-feminism? Post-feminism has as many sides as I told that leftism has. So every set of feminism, every set of feminism has undergone some changes. It has gone some changes since 1960s, and they have realized that challenging the family as a structure, challenging the family as a social institution will not solve our problem. We have to keep the the civilization should also move forward. If we stop giving birth to children, if we if women say no to childbirth, then there will be an end of civilization. So they also have they are also introspecting, and they are also having dialogues with different different ideological groups. And as I gave you two examples, the two eminent radical feminists, they have also written some books changing their own mind after they reinterpreted feminism in their own in the changing circumstances. So there is a de-radicalization in post-feminism. So post-feminism has believed in de-radicalization, and they say if we can achieve all the changes, and if you can bring some changes in patriarchy by changing the value system, by changing the legal system, or by changing our attitude and mindset, then something better can be achieved.
So, okay, thank you, madam. I mean, no answer is a final answer. I mean, we need to think through it.
Certainly.
And when I am making a question, I have a different, intention or orientation. And when you are answering, you are also, having a different, orientation. I think the more we will have the discussion, debate, dialogue, then, realities, it will come out. And at the end, I think, theoretically, at least, feminism also want a, good society, good life, and a good state. So, how to establish it and to what extent we are, successful in that, regard. So, madam, there are, some questions that has been asked in the chat box. So I will read it. I will read it for you so that you can answer. Manisha is asking for suffering a woman in political, social, and economic sphere who are more responsible, a male or female?
That the system is responsible, patriarchy. No male or female, we cannot specify any particular class or section. It is the system by who is instrument. The system is instrumental in making the women suffer. Even a woman is like can be a patriarch. Like if you have the concept of sasu in your mind, then with that I mean I can say that she is also a patriarch. It is a form because it can be exercised by either a man or a woman. We cannot say, I mean, only men are instrumental in suppressing women, or women are instrumental in suppressing other women. It's not like that. It
Okay,
is
madam.
patriarchy.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask a following question, that who is not patriarchal? My counter question is that who is
Huh?
not patriarchal? Who is not
Not
patriarchal?
patriarchal.
I
No,
mean,
feminists are not patriarchal. Feminists fight against patriarchy tooth and nail. So they cannot be patriarchal. A man can also be a feminist. A woman can also be an
agree,
anti-feminist.
agree. Okay, then next question will go Niyati. Very technically you handled it. Okay, Niyati is asking, good evening, madam. Which strand do you prefer in between difference feminism and liberal feminism and postmodern feminism in the international politics?
In international politics, it has to be, to me, it has to be liberal feminism, because we have a number of laws and we have to act according to them, and we always depend upon debate and discussion uh, so this can be done through liberal feminism. I mean, any liberal stand you take, not by a
Okay.
radical, not by a radical.
Okay, Vidyasagar, are you there? You have asked a very long question. So I want you to directly ask to our speaker. Vidyasagar Behra, are you there?
Yes, sir.
You
Good evening,
directly
sir.
ask. Good evening.
Ma'am, good evening.
Good evening.
Ma'am, actually, my question is b- beyond my uh, beyond my academic career. So, because ମୁଁ ଏଟାକୁ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ପଚାରି ପାରିବି କାରଣ ଏଟା ମୋର ଏକାଡେମିକ୍ ଲାଇଫ୍
ବିଲକୁଲ
ସହିତ ମୋର ଜଡ଼ିତ ନୁହଁ।
ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ପଚାର, କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ।
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ମୋର ଏଟା ଏକାଡେମିକ୍ ଲାଇଫ୍ ସହିତ ଜଡ଼ିତ ନୁହେଁ ମୁଁ ଏ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ସହିତ, ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କାରଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ
Vidyasagar,
ପଲିଟିକାଲ ସାଇନ୍ସ, ହଁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍, ହଁ
Vidyasagar.
ସାର୍, ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍,
So feminist ମାନେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କି personal is political. And when you are saying that it is not related with academics, I think that it is very much related with the academics. You ask. You
नो
directly
ସାର୍,
ask the question.
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍, ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଜଷ୍ଟ ସୋସାଇଟି ତିଆରି କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି, ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ରେସନାଲିଟିକୁ ଇଭେନ୍ ଆମେ ସାର୍ ବି କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା ହେଇଥିଲୁ, ଗୋଟେ ରେସନାଲିଟିକୁ ମୋରାଲିଟି ସ୍ପିୟରକୁ ଅଣାଜାଣି ପାରିଲେ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସାଲ ମୋରାଲ ବୋଲି ଆମେ କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ କରିପାରିବା। ଯେହେତୁ ନାରୀମାନେ, ମୁଁ ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ପଚାରିଛି, ଯେକୌଣସି ଝିଅମାନଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ କହେ ଯେ ବାହା ହୁଅନି, ଯେମିତିକି ମୁଁ ମୋ ଭଉଣୀମାନଙ୍କୁ କି ମୋର ଯୋଉ ଝିଅ ସାଙ୍ଗମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କୁ କୁହେ ବାହା ହୁଏନି ବୋଲି, ସେମାନେ କାହିଁକି ମୋତେ ଟର୍ମ କରନ୍ତି ଯେ ତୁ ରାଡିକାଲ ଫେମିନିଷ୍ଟ, ଯେମିତି ଯୋଉମାନେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ଫେମିନିଜମ କଣ ସେମାନେ କହନ୍ତି ରାଡିକାଲ ଫେମିନିଷ୍ଟ। ମୁଁ ଏଇଟା ବୁଝିପାରେନି, କାରଣ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ରେସନାଲିଟି ଉପରେ ବେସିସ୍ କରିକିନା କହେ। କାରଣ ଯୋଉଟା ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟିଆ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ, ତାର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟ ହଉଛି, ଆମେ ମାନୁଛୁ ଯେ ଡାଉରିଟା ହଉଛି ଇଲିଗାଲ, ଯୌତୁକ ପ୍ରଥାଟା ଇଲିଗାଲ, ତଥାପି ତାର ଆପ୍ଲିକାବିଲିଟି ଚାଲିଛି ବୋଲି ଏଇଟା ଆମେ ଅଳ୍ପ ବହୁତ ସମସ୍ତେ ଜାଣିଛୁ, ସମସ୍ତେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ, ଅଙ୍ଗେ ନିଭଉଛୁ। ଡାଉରି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଯାଏଁ ଚାଲିଛି, ଗାଁରେ ସହରରେ ସବୁ ଜାଗାରେ ଚାଲିଛି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଯାଏଁ। କିନ୍ତୁ କୌଣସି ଝିଅ ମୁଁ ଆଜି ଯାଏଁ ଗୋଟାଏ ବି ଦେଖିପାରିଲିନି ମୁଁ ମୋର ଏତିକି ବର୍ଷ ଜୀବନ ଭିତରେ ଯିଏ କି ଡାଉରିକୁ ମନା କରିକି ବାହାଘରକୁ ମନା କରୁଛି। କାରଣ ଯେହେତୁ ତାର ଉତ୍ତର ବି ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ପରବର୍ତ୍ତୀ ଷ୍ଟେଜରେ ଦେବି ଯେ କଣ ପାଇଁ ସେ ଜିନିଷଟା। डाउरी की मना करिकिना केही गोटे करूना से माने कोन ताको कंफर्ट जोन बाहरिया को डरुचंदी झियो माने माने आगे बापार सैलरी रे बंचिबे तापरे हजबैंड भलो चाकरी करथियो कि भलो बिजनेस करथियो सेठी बंचिबे से कंफर्ट जोन ताको डर मारछु झियो मानको एक्चुअली मु एटा को माने काहा को ह्यूमिलिएट करिया पई कहूनी
କହିଲି there is a ଏଇଟା comfort zone ଆଉ ନାହିଁ ଏଇଟା comfort zone ନାହିଁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ there is a real women have posed a real threat to men by coming to competition by competing in market तमे सब बळे जागे देख परीक्षा जेतबळे होची सब बहुत बड़े women रहउचंती परीक्षा रे उत्तीर्णता लाभ करूचंती तम यूनिवर्सिटी रो देखिबो मेरिट लिस्ट रे भी बहुत women वर्तमान आसुचंती कंफर्ट जोन गलानी तमे जो कंफर्ट जोन
दैट इज गुड
कहउच सेटा सेटा बहुत एकदम पुराना कथा तमे कहउच
मैम मैम ठीक अछि मैम
स्वाभिमान माने स्वावलंबी हबा सेटा होची वर्तमान कंफर्ट जोन प्रत्येक झियो
मैम किंतु जति कि आमे मु सेति पय मैम को मु एकेडमिक भितर मु रही किना कहि परनी से जिंस को कारण मु जति कि मो एम्पिरिकल नॉलेज भितर जति कि झियो मानु को देखुची मो सांग मानु को मो भौणी मानु को देखि किना कहउची से माने भी पाठ पढी किना जाई कि सेही आपण जो फेमिनिस्ट माने जो क्वेश्चन उठौचंती से माने सेही जिंस रो शिकार होचंती मो कहिबा मोर मैम गोटे छोटी माने सजेशन कहि परंती किंबा गोटे छोटो बुद्धि रे मु जा जति कि भाबी परुची जदि एमिति सोसाइटी तयारी होता जहा द्वारा कि मु इंडियन मैम जेतु मु इंडिया रे रहउची केवल इंडियन सोसाइटी रे झियो मानो को स्टैंडर्ड को नै किना कहि परिबी किंतु आउट ऑफ इंडिया रे मु से स्टैंडर्ड को मु मैच करि किना कहि परिबिनी
नाही बाबा किछि स्टैंडर्ड बोली नाही दिस इज ए माइंडसेट
नहीं मैम मैम एटा मु इंडिया कॉन्टेक्स्ट रे सॉरी मैम मु स्टैंडर्ड रे कहली मैम एक्चुअली सेटा कॉन्टेक्स्ट हो एक्चुअली सेटा कॉन्टेक्स्ट कुआ हबो इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट रे कहउची कारण जदि आमे मु जदि ए गोटे ऑप्शन गोटे जदि एमती खोला हुए जदि सबु झियो माने जेमती कि डाउरीटा इलीगल किंतु सेटा वर्तमान जाय मैम चली छी आपण मना करले भी
you are also incorrect in saying that माने every girl is taking a dowry no नाहंते बहुत झियो मना करचंती तमे सेटा को सेगुडा को स्टडी नियो
मैम मैम तो स्टैटिस्टिक्स ता दे मैम तो स्टैटिस्टिक्स हमें पाइबानी हमको एम्पिरिकली ओलेबा को पड़िबो स्टेज ऊपर को मैम सेटा स्टेज ऊपर को पूरा डायरेक्ट हमको ओलेबा पड़िबो सोसाइटी रे देखिया पूरा इनेट तार मेकानिज्म ता को हम खोजे को पड़िबो चाली जी कि नहीं आपण जोटा कहिले मे बी सेटा बहुत बहुत हायर स्टेज रे जो जियो माने पळुचंती जने अबिका सपोज कल्पना चावला थाते से बाहाई थाते से कोन से भी बाहाई थिबे से कोन जोति कोनी थिबे किंतु हमर ग्रास रूट लेवल कथा मैम पड़छि
हम पाखो आमे रिसर्च करूने हम पाखरे केस स्टडी नाही बोली बहुत बाहर लेनी एमदी इन्यूमरेबल कल्पना चावला वर्तमान बाहर लेनी जो माने इवन जो बेदी पके की बाहावा को मना करूचंती पार्टनर सहित एग्रीमेंट करूचंती जे सब इक्वल बेसिस रे हेले ही जाई कि हमें बाहाई कि एकाठी रहिबा न जदि न इक्वालिटी जदि न होची छाड़ दे कि बे आसुचंती बिना कोनोसी हेजिटेशन रे तेनु से सब नाही से गुडा को धीरे धीरे भांगी गलानी तो ब्रेक खलानी सब
नहीं एमिति माने 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 मैम एक्चुअली दी पटरु बायोलॉजिकल नेटटा रहउची उभय मेल पटरु फीमेल पटरु दी पटरु बायोलॉजिकल नेटटा रहउची इन केस हमें जदि एमती गोटे ऑप्शन तयारी करि परिबा जोथरे कि जियो माने टोटल मु इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट रो कहउची जे माने जियो माने टोटल कहबे जदि डाउरी टंकाटा भी जदि दिया हुए ताहले आमे बाहा हबुनी तेनिकी आमर कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस जहा हो बापा माँ आमको छाड़ी दिंतु आमे वर्तमान जिते उच्च शिक्षित हो आमे बरं राजमिस्त्री काम करूँ किंबा मूलिया काम करूँ किंतु आमे बाहा हबुनी जदि से केस रे सब झील सेमती ही भावना माइंडसेट नहीं किना हेबे तो पुओ मानकर भी तो अच्छी ना से जो बायोलॉजिकल नीड से मैंने ओबियसली कहबे नहीं आमे आमे आ तुमको दबदबा सप्रेस करूनी तुम सब कथा राजिबू कारण से बायोलॉजिकल नीड पुओर भी तो अच्छी कारण झील पिला कहीं से जलांजलि दे पारिबेनी झील पिला कहीं से जलांजलि
Sir, I think I got your point. I think Madam has also responded. I think such type of concern we can have in our personal chat. I think I gave a scope to you. I thought that you will bring something new, and you brought something new also. I think I will tackle it in a different way.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Oh my
Thank you,
God.
ma'am.
Then Pradeep is asking madam this question: do you justify gender inequality on the grounds of women protection? Madam, do you justify gender inequality on grounds of women protection?
women protection
Yeah.
कौन ता माने कौन
Pradeep, are you there?
कौन
Can you
सीता कह
clarify?
ओडिया कहबो कह
Pradeep, can you clarify?
Yes, sir.
कौन
Okay.
कहूछ
Good evening,
कौन
ma'am.
कहया कुछ
Ma'am, let's take an example. Suppose girls hostel girls mane 6 p.m. रे तांको hostel close हे जाउची. But for boys hostel 11 p.m. So in case it is something that girls are to be protected, that is why the hostel is closing at 6 p.m.
ନାଇଁ ଆମେ ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ 11ଟା ଯାଏଁ ଛାଡ଼ିବା କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିରୋ ଟଲରେନ୍ସ ଜୋନ୍ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିବା ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ଦେଇପାରିବା ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ 11ଟା ରାତି ଯାଏଁ ଛାଡ଼ିପାରିବା ଲାଇବ୍ରେରୀରେ ଯାଇକି ବସିପାରିବେ ପଢ଼ିପାରିବେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ସେମିତି ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୟାମ୍ପସ୍ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିବା ଯୋଉଠିକି ସେମାନଙ୍କର ସେଫ୍ଟି ଏନ୍ସିଓର୍ଡ ହବ they will not be exploited they will not be molested or they will not be tortured ତାହେଲେ ହେଇପାରିବ ଯେହେତୁ ନାହିଁ ଯେହେତୁ ସେମିତି ସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟି ଆମେ ଦେଇପାରୁନେ ତେଣୁ ବାଧ୍ୟ ହେଇକିରି ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାବେଳେ କହୁଛି ଆମେ ପଳେଇ ଆସ ହଷ୍ଟେଲକୁ ବୋଲି ସେଟା ଆମ ଉପରେ ନିର୍ଭର କରୁଛି ଅଥରିଟି ଉପରେ ନିର୍ଭର କରୁଛି ଯେ ହାଉ ଦ କ୍ୟାମ୍ପସ୍ ଇଜ୍ ମାନେ ଟୁ ମେକ୍ ଦ କ୍ୟାମ୍ପସ୍ ଏ ସିକ୍ୟୁର୍ଡ କ୍ୟାମ୍ପସ୍ ଅଥରିଟି କ୍ୟାନ୍ ଅଲୱେଜ୍ ମେକ୍ ଇଟ୍ ଲାଇକ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍
Okay, I mean, Sanjay is asking this question, how feminists deal with graded inequality, gender, class, caste of Dalit women.
ସେ ତ କହିଲି ନା ଟ୍ରିପଲ ଡମିନେସନ ଯୋଉଟା ବୁଝଉଥିଲି ସିନ୍ଥିଆ ଷ୍ଟିଫେନ୍ସ ଆମ୍ବେଦକର ଆଉ ଜ୍ୟୋତିବା ଫୁଲେଙ୍କର ନେଇକି ସୋ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଏ ପାର୍ଟ ଅଫ୍ ଏ ବ୍ରଡର ସୋଶାଲ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ମୁଁ ତମକୁ ଯୋଉ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ମୋର କନକ୍ଲୁଜନ କହିଲି it is not a movement which should be like which should be followed or which should be advanced in contrast to other social movements it should be a part of the larger social movement where all hierarchies are challenged the hierarchy based on caste class and gender all hierarchies are challenged so it should very much be a part of a broader social movement ଆମେ ଯଦି କହିବା ଗୋଟେ parochial sense ରେ ଖାଲି women ମାନଙ୍କୁ ନେଇକିରି ମାନେ feminist movement କରୁଛନ୍ତି no women's interest is also not uniform women's interest is also not uniform women are a heterogeneous group there are variety of interest groups there are variety of challenges faced by different groups of women गोटे rich women जहाँ face करूची गोटे poor women आहुरी अधिका face करूची गोटे ब्राह्मण women जहाँ face करूची गोटे दलित women निश्चय अधिका face करूची तेणु सेई गुडा को सब रखिकी मनरे गोटे ब्रॉडर सोशल मूवमेंट रो पार्ट बोली भाबिकी समस्तंको सांगरे नेकी चलिले ही जायकि वुमेन्स मूवमेंट बा फेमिनिज्म गोटे सक्सेसफुल मूवमेंट हबो not by challenging the society as a whole.
So, okay, thank you, madam. Subhasri, can you directly ask the question to the speaker? Subhasri, are you there?
Yes, sir.
You can directly ask the question to the speaker.
Okay, sir. Ma'am, good evening.
हाँ, good evening.
Ma'am, higher mindset कौन?
Higher mindset.
हाँ.
कोठी मु कहली.
हाँ ma'am, कौन?
Higher mindset माने कौन माने?
मैम मो क्वेश्चन एक्चुअल क्वेश्चन टा होची हायर माइंडसेट जहा कि फेमिनिज्म ऊपर इंपैक्ट पकोछि सेटा किपरि इंपैक्ट पकोछि आ हायर माइंडसेट कहिले कोन एजुकेटेड पीपल केवल हायर माइंडसेट रखि थांती आ से हायर माइंडसेट पई ही फेमिनिज्म क्रिएट हुए की
नहीं सब एजुकेटेड पीपल भी फेमिनिस्ट हेबे बोली किछि माने नहीं गोटे मोस्ट एजुकेटेड पर्सन भी एकदम स्ट्रांग गोटे वेरी स्ट्रांग ऑर्थोडॉक्स पर्सन हेई परिबा बा गोटे इलिटरेट पर्सन कैन आल्सो बी ए फेमिनिस्ट फेमिनिज्म रो गोटे मूल ए होची जे आमे समस्ते समान आमे गोटे समानतार गोटे आदर्श थिबा गोटे समाज सृष्टि करिबा जोठी गोटे परिवार रे समस्ते समान हेबे तेणु गोटे एजुकेटेड लोक भी एंटी फेमिनिस्ट हे परिबा गोटे इलिटरेट पर्सन भी गाँ रे ट्राइबल माने दे आर वेरी they have a equal society their society is based on more or less on equality ସେମାନେ ତ ପାଠ ପଢି ନାହାନ୍ତି ତେଣୁ ଗୋଟେ ଇକ୍ୱାଲ सोसाइटी गोटे हेले ही सेटा गोटे गुड गोटे सोसाइटी गोटे सृष्टि हबो
मैम आ गोटे क्वेश्चन थिला मैम आम थिंकिंग पावर जते बढ़ी बढ़ी चली छी फेमिनिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव सेते बढ़ी बढ़ी चली छी काहे कि मैम
कोन कहला थिंकिंग
हां मोर थिंकिंग
क्रिटिकली चिंता करूछ सेथि फेमिनिस्ट ही चलछ जेतु तमे क्वेश्चन करूछ सोशल स्ट्रक्चर को जे क्वेश्चन करिवो सब बेले सोशल स्ट्रक्चर को यू हैव टू क्वेश्चन वेदर इट इज जस्टिफाइड और नॉट तमे जेहेतु क्वेश्चन करूछ क्रिटिकली चिंता करूछ गोटे क्रिटिकली क्वेश्चन करूछ प्रत्येक इंस्टीट्यूशन को सोसाइटी रो सेथि पई तमे गोटे फेमिनिस्ट ही जाउछ आउरी जेते अधिका पढिबो सेते अधिका फेमिनिस्ट ही जिवो
मैम आ गोटे क्वेश्चन थिला मैम रुसो कहिथिले कि नारी मानकर स्वाधीनता अधिकार नहीं किंतु से काहे कि को पर्सपेक्टिव को देखि कहिथिले
पॉलिटिकल इक्वालिटी
फैमिली प्रोग्रेस से कहिथिले मैम
कहिथिले फैमिली होची गोटे गोटे नेसेसरी इंस्टीट्यूशन फैमिली इज ए नेसेसरी इंस्टीट्यूशन वुमेन मानन को सेटा को फैमिली टा को सेव करके रखिया को पड़िबो सेति पे समानकर पॉलिटिकल इक्वालिटी नाही त रूसो को केबे भी फेमिनिस्ट बोली कहा जायनी सबुटु बडो फेमिनिस्ट थिले प्लाटो
हां मैम से तो काहे के से क्रिटिसाइज करछंती नारी को
हां करूछंती त करा दियो
So,
से तो
okay,
नेचुरल
Subhash.
इनइक्वालिटी रूसो नेचुरल इनइक्वालिटी कहउतले ना तो रूसो बिलीव्ड इन इनइक्वालिटी
किंतु एमिली पुस्तक रे से लिखि दिसंती जे नाही नारी मानन को पूरा माने करप्टेड कर देसंते मैम ताको डेवलप काहे करा जाउनी को पर्सपेक्टिव को से देखि दिले
ताको तो दिया न जाऊ इक्वालिटी बोली कहितले आ कोन
So, okay, Subhasri, I mean, we should ask Russo directly, maybe in some different, maybe.
In your subsequent meeting with Russo.
Maybe. So, madam, let's take the last question. Pritish, are you there? Pritish, you can directly ask the question to our
Yes,
speaker.
sir. Yes.
Okay, you ask.
Madam, my question is that feminism says that men should die, as marriage is a union between both husband and wife, then why constitution is not providing any legal protection for husband in a society?
कौन
And
why constitution
why constitution is not providing any legal protection for the husband in context to marriage रे madam मैं को question टा पचारू छी
कौन तुम ओडिया रे पचारला
मैडम
कौन पचार जा ओडिया रो इंग्लिश रो हां अथरे को बुझी कि
क्वेश्चन एटा भेला जे इज दैट फेमिनिज्म सेज दैट men should die
Men should
marriage
die.
yes madam
नहीं who
काहे
told
ना मैडम मु क्वेश्चन दुटा कहू छी as marriage is a union between both husband and wife madam then why constitution is not providing any legal protection for husband in a society मैडम एबे जदी किछि मैरिज रो जदी डिस्प्यूट ता होची से टाइम रे मैडम लीगल प्रोटेक्शन रे मैडम सब बेले हेरेसमेंट करी के मेंटेनेंस केस ता मैडम माने माने वुमेन थ्रू मैडम माने केस ता करा होची मैडम
नहीं नेचुरल जस्टिस बी गिवन नहीं लॉ शुड नॉट बी मिसयूज्ड सुना लॉ शुड नॉट बी मिसयूज्ड फैमिली गोटे इक्वालिटी बेसिस रे जदी हबो जोठी एक्सप्लॉयटेशन रहिबोनी कि टॉर्चर रहिबोनी कि अब्यूज रहिबोनी ताहले केही इनइक्वाल बोली लॉ कहू नाही समस्त को इक्वालिटी मिलिबो बोली लॉ कहूची तेणु कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इक्वल प्रोटेक्शन देछि सुन जेतेबेले भी जो जोठी करा होची जेतेबेले भी गोटे जजमेंट दिया होची सफिशिएंट विटनेस सफिशिएंट एविडेंस देखि कि जजमेंट दिया होची ना मिसयूज ऑफ लॉ बहुत समय धरा भी पडुची जदि गोटे झियो मेंटेनेंस मागुची बा मिसयूज करूची बोल तुम भाबुछ बहुत समय धरा भी पडुची एंती किछि नुहे जे दिया जायनी प्रोटेक्शन समस्त को दिया जाय
मैडम मोर क्वेश्चन एटा रहला जदि फेमिनिज्म टा कहूची कि समाजटा गुटे समान अधिकार सबको मिलिबो जदि से कथाटा जदि कहूची मैडम मु केबे कोड भी फेमिनिस्ट मान को ह्यूमन राइट्स विषय रे चर्चा करवाटा कि तांको पय दाबी करवाटा मु देखिनी मैडम
आ
दे
कोन
आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट ह्यूमन राइट्स दे आर ऑलवेज टॉकिंग अबाउट द वुमेन्स राइट
हाँ वुमेन माने सबुठी सबऑर्डिनेटेड सबऑर्डिनेशन ता गोटे पार्ट ऑफ वुमेन्स लाइफ बोली धेइची बोली तो
मैडम हम देश रे मैडम जोटी मैडम देयर आर मोर देन 50 लॉज इन आवर कंट्री फॉर द प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ वुमेन देन हाउ द सोसाइटी इज पेट्रियार्की मैडम देन हाउ द सोसाइटी इज पेट्रियार्की
काहे कि दिया है केते वायलेंस होची सेटा तो मते स्टैटिस्टिक्स ता दउ ना केते वायलेंस वुमेन मान करे अगेंस्ट रे होची प्रत्येक दिन केते की रेप होची केते की मोलेस्टेशन होची केते की डाउरी डेथ होची गुडा को कहू न टिके स्टैटिस्टिक्स गुडा का
मैडम स्टैटिस्टिक्स अछि मैडम 498 ए लॉज माने बहुतटा अछि मैडम जोटा की
बिकॉज़ दे आर मोर वल्नरेबल से मानकर वल्नरेबिलिटी रा एक्सटेंट ता जेहेतु अधिका सेइथि पई प्रोटेक्शन दिया जाउची दलित मानक पई केते लॉ करा हैची काई करा हैची काई ब्राह्मण मानक पई करा होउनी सेटा पचर न काहे कि ना बेसिंग ऑन कास्ट दे आर सफरिंग they are treated on an unequal basis their vulnerability is more than other caste people सेइथि पई दिया हैची सो एटा गोटे सब बेले गोटे जेमति तुमको रिजर्वेशन दिया हैची सेमति एठी प्रोटेक्शन पई लॉ किछि करा हैची ता लॉ दिया हैनी तुमको मिसयूज करा वेरी फ्यू मैडम ओटी बहुत हो मिसयूज किंतु वेरी फ्यू केसेस
मैडम
Pritish, I think we should stop somewhere. I think you have enough asked and Madam has already responded. I think we need to do research, right?
Exactly.
If there is a fault, we need to expose it.
Hello. Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
Vidyasagar.
Sir, गोटे मिनिट नेबी गोटे मिनिट एक्चुअली एटी गोटे जिंस जने भूल कलिसी जो प्रीतिश
let me tell something. Madam, I think students are more interested in you. Today they have decided to take only you. Okay, Vidyasagar, you can do.
सर एक्चुअली एटी से भूल कहले प्रीतिश जो न बोधे क्वेश्चन पचारतले प्रीतिश बोधे
हां हां
से गोटे भूल कथा कहले सेथि पई मु अनम्यूट करिके ना कहिया को बाध्य होली से एक्चुअली कहले जे जो एमिति कोन पई ने जो कंपेंसेशन सपोज डिवोर्स बेरे एमिति जेमति से तांको एग्जांपल हिसाब रे कहले जे झियो मानु को काई की कंपेंसेशन देबे पुओ माने एमिति भी हेची 4 दिन तरे पेपर रे बाहर छी समाज रे बाहर छी पुओ को कंपेंसेशन दिया हेची झियो जहार चाकरी थिबो सीए दबो डिवोर्स केस रे एटा हमर लॉ अछि इंडिया रे जहार चाकरी थिबो सीए दबो ताको भरण पोषण पैसा एटा लॉ एटा हम इंडिया रे लॉ अछि एटा 4 दिन तरे सॉरी मैं हां एग्जैक्टली मन पकेले 4 दिन तरे पेपर रे बाहर छी गोटे स्त्री ता ये को 3000 टंका लेखा हिसाब रे ता स्वामी को देला डिवोर्स हेलानी तांकर 4-5 वर्ष हेलानी सब तक पैसा एका संगे से देला 5000 टंका लेखा स्टार्ट कला ई मासरू से प्रीतिश जे से भूल कहले तो मु सेति पई कहया को बाध्य होली सर
ना एमती रैंडम
okay, I mean my concern, Vidyasagar, my concern is not that Vidyasagar, madam,
sir.
let me tell you something, that my concern is not that whether male is giving maintenance to the female or female is giving maintenance to the male. By giving each other, they are only buying pain, right? I think that they need to stay together. I mean, for that I think there is a formation of socialism is very essential. The kind of ego we are practicing and the kind of
it's not ego, it is a question of mutual respect, Himanshu. It's not a question of ego, it is a question of mutual respect. If you stay together, you have to mutually respect each other. If there is no respect, we cannot stay together. That is the whole thing.
The only statement that speaks about this ego, I will see you in the court of law. This statement speaks volume about our ego. Madam, I think we should not hide. I think this generation is also facing huge problem. I think Nivedita Menon is also very serious about this problem, the kind of ongoing crisis today we are facing. So thank you, Vidyasagar, for this correction. I think Pritesh should take note of it. Now there is no question further. Yes. I mean, Mukesh, are you interested to ask any question, Mukesh?
No, sir. I not want to ask any questions. I want to say something. I think for all this reason, girls are responsible. Their mindsets are responsible, and society is also responsible, and their parents are also responsible.
You are more responsible.
Yes, ma'am. I am also responsible. Yeah. When I am including society, here I am also there. When I say society, here I am also. So what
You
simply
are part
girls
of
think?
society.
Girls simply think that not all girls, maximum they think that when I will graduate, then my father will arrange a good candidate for me, then I am tension free. So that is their mindset. Why they don't want to be self dependent? Why they not want to bringing out the concept of house husband? How what simply girls think that when they think that when I am in a position, when they will do any job, a girl she is in a job, and she always tries to marry a higher, I mean those who is in a higher position, a boy who is higher position than her. Why they are not bringing out the concept of house husband? Why they are not marry a unemployed and well educated unemployed boy? That is there.
After
That is the
some days,
problem.
you will find a number of house husbands also.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
Yes. I think all this problem,
it
this
will
dowry
get,
problem,
it
all
will get.
it can be solved by this, ma'am.
It is coming gradually.
And then Vidya, I think my elder brother, he said that don't marry. This is not a solution. Not a marriage is not a solution. But say that you have to be self-dependent and don't marry someone who is the higher positions than you. Just marry someone who is unemployed but well educated. Even a lot of boys are struggling to get a job. And that
Yes.
kind of mindset, when there will be girls, then I think a society can change. Yeah.
I know. Let me add something to this, Mukesh. Madam, I also used to think about. I mean, I have enough money to give huge property to my daughter, but I cannot buy a job for my son. And this patriarchal society has it has designed that if my son is not having a job, maybe no father are ready to give their daughter to my son. So this is a neo dowry system, I used to say. Uh, I mean, how you will react to this?
Change is coming. It will come gradually. And finally, we aim for a society based on equality. That is our only objective. Genderless personhood should be achieved.
let's see many more. They also said that whether equality is possible or not, whether it is a utopian idea or not. Till now caste is continuing in a different form. We call it is a old wine in a new bottle. So it's just changing its own color. And if you see the recent movie of Kabir Singh, then you will find a different kind of narration where the female likes the masculine quality, and the kind of treatment a man is doing with the female is also enjoying that. So this is human behavior, human mindset. It's very complex. It changes according to the time, and I know that theory must follow the practice, and that's how feminist theory are also it is developing. So thank you, madam. Thank you for your deliberation. We have Apurva Mukhopadhyay. Sir, namaskar.
Sir,
Apurva sir,
namaskar.
namaskar. Sir, you have to unmute yourself. Oh, he left. He left. It's okay. So we are at the last part of this event. I hope, madam, you enjoyed the kind of questions, whether
Definitely.
it is right or wrong, but questions are always questions, and you got, huge questions.
query rahibo na. We have to, I mean, face those. Pilanku jodi ame query tankara solve no kariba kiye karibo. We are meant for that.
No, that is true. That is true. Whenever any discussion on any cleavages are there, then it's for sure that there will be 100 questions,
Definitely.
because we are directly experiencing all these things. So we are
Yes.
at the last part of this event. Now I request Lakshmi Priya Sahu to provide vote of thanks to our speaker.
Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible?
You are audible. You are not visible. Yeah.
Sir, should I start? A very good evening to one and all. Respected keynote speaker of this web talk, Professor Gitanjali Das ma'am, and convener of this web talk, Dr. Himanshu sir, and respected Surya Narayan Mishra sir, and respected Apurva Mukhopadhyay sir, and other delegate
Sorry. There was also another person, Professor Vishnu Chaudhary. He also joined with that.
Professor Vishnu Chaudhary sir, and other delegate persons who participated here. It's a matter of pride for me that I have got an opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks. So thank you, sir, for providing me this opportunity. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to our speaker, Professor Gitanjali Das ma'am, for her excellent presentation and for providing his views on the topic changing discourse on feminism. It has definitely enlightened our thoughts. So thank you so much, ma'am. Then I would also like to express my sincere thanks to Professor Surya Narayan Mishra sir and Professor Apurva Mukhopadhyay sir for their gracious presence. And then I would also like to convey my deep sense of appreciation to the convener, Dr. Himanshu sir, for organizing such wonderful webinar for all of us. Then I would also like to thank all those participants who asked the questions. Then last but not the least, all the participants who joined us and made this webinar success. So once again, thank you everyone. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, Lakshmi Priya. I'm also thankful to you. You also wonderfully,
Thank you, sir.
provided the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thanks to all the students for their queries, and thanks to Himanshu for to have given me an opportunity to interact with you people. Thank you.
So thank you, madam. Special thanks I also give to Apurva sir, then Surya sir, then Vishnu sir.
କଥା ହଉଥିଲେ ଅପୂର୍ବ ସାର୍ ଅନମ୍ୟୁଟ କରନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ ସାର୍ ଟିକେ ଦେଖା ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ ନମସ୍କାର ନମସ୍କାର ନମସ୍କାର
So, madam, let me finish this recording, then we can have an informal chat.